Hello everyone, I'm Maria and welcome back to my Nook. Today it is currently Thursday morning and I've just washed my hair. I've already made myself a nice cup of tea. Gotta be careful holding it up because this cup is full and it's also hot. Right now, I thought I would start another reading vlog because I have been wanting to try something new that I haven't done before. So in the past, I've always been reading one book at a time, and that is also what you've always saw in all of my reading vlogs. I've always read one book at a time, but now I want to start something new. So a couple of days ago I finished The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, which is also the book that I read in my last reading vlog. And now I shared in that vlog that I've been feeling a little conflicted about starting the sequel to The Name of the Wind, which is The Wise Man's Fear, also by Patrick Rothfuss, obviously, because The Name of the Wind was a very slow-paced book. And I have heard that The Wise Man's Fear is moving just as slowly. And now the problem is that I am intrigued and I am interested to see how the main character's story is going to continue, but I am genuinely not in the mood to sit down and read another slow book like The Name of the Wind for like 2 weeks before I can get to another book. Because let's be honest, there are plenty of other books at the moment that I want to read right now. And there's also the fact that there should be a third book in the series. It's the Kingkiller Chronicle series. But the third book hasn't come out in 11 years, so that's also another thing. Like, once I do finish the second book, I'll be left with nothing, basically, where there should be something. So I have decided to do something or try something rather that I haven't done before, or at least I can't remember ever doing it before, and that is reading 2 books at a time. Now, I've already shared in my last reading vlog that I feel like this might not be for me, because I feel like I might not be able to focus on multiple books at a time or give each book the focus and attention that it deserves and that it should receive in order for me to really digest what I'm reading. You know what I mean? And also, I feel like it might not work time-wise for me, because on some days I only really have time to sit down to read for like 30 minutes or an hour or like 3 hours max, and I'm a slow reader, so it takes me like 3 hours to read 100 pages, which means that reading 2 books at a time will result in me getting through both books rather slowly compared to if I was reading one book first and then the next one. But then again, I don't know. So I want to try that out. And the books I want to read are, first of all, The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss, which is the sequel to The Name of the Wind. I think I've mentioned that enough times by now. Why am I even saying that again? I don't have a book to hold up for you, so you'll just have to do with this picture, because I did not love The Name of the Wind enough to buy myself an actual copy of The Wise Man's Fear, so I'm borrowing the ebook from my library via Libby. And the second book I really, really want to read right now is the first book in the Ranger's Apprentice series, The Ruins of Gorlan by John Flanagan. Now this is a new thing to me. I mean, The Wise Man's Fear and like The Name of the Wind is new to me too. But this series is on my 2023 TBR anyway, but it's still not completely random that I'm reading this because the booktuber Cassandra Lynn, you know her because I've mentioned her enough times by now, I think. She is hosting a Ranger's Apprentice reading marathon together with a friend, I believe, and they are basically reading one book each month out of the series, and they chose 11 books to read out of the series for this year, starting in February. And this is the first book, obviously, because it's the first book in the series. Now, today is February 2nd, and the first live show for this book will be held on February 18th, so I definitely want to have this book finished by then. But I'm pretty positive I'll manage that, since that's still 2 weeks to go, and it took me like 2 weeks to get through The Name of the Wind, which was 662 pages, and this book is only like 280 pages. So I should totally manage to do that. By the way, I also have the audiobook for The Wise Man's Fear, which hopefully will make it also easier to get through the book. Now, I don't know, I'll just have to try and see and figure out how to do this thing with reading multiple books at a time. And I thought I'll take you guys along for the ride. The journey, I should probably say. But first, actually, I have to, rather want to, catch up on my reading journal a bit, and I think I'll take you guys along for that. I've been reading most of the day now and journaling a bit, you saw that. And now guess what just came in the mail? It's a book. I mean, you can't see that from the packaging, but it's a book. And I know which one it is because I ordered it a couple of days ago. I am so extremely excited. Let's open this thing together. I've been wanting to get this book for a while now, but then I had my eye on a used book online, but then I thought, no, I'm in the middle of plenty of other books that I want to read first, so maybe let's just read those first and buy this one once I'm actually going to read it. And then that book was sold, so I couldn't buy it used anymore. And now I bought it new, and oh my god, it is gorgeous. Wow, it did not look this amazing online. Like, it already looked amazing online, but not this amazing. I bought We Hunt the Flame by, oh gosh, Hafsa Faisal. I'm so sorry if I butchered that name. Incredibly sorry. This book, it's so gorgeous. Also, look at the spine. That is the wrong way around. Look at this spine. And the back too. And this is just a simple paperback. This is not even a special edition or anything. It even says bonus materials inside. Oh my god. That is so cool. I'm so excited to get to this book. Like, I already knew it looked gorgeous. And the second book there, this is a duology, and the second book, We Free the Stars, I believe, also looks gorgeous. So this is a fantasy novel, if I'm not mistaken. And it is set in ancient Arabia. And basically there is the female main character, Safira, and she's a hunter, but disguising herself as a man, probably to get through the world better and probably to not get killed, I'm assuming. And then there's Nasir, who is the Prince of Death. By the way, I'm so incredibly sorry if I'm pronouncing all of these names horribly wrong. And apparently they're both kind of legends in the kingdom that this takes place in. Safira is continuously going into some cursed forest in order to feed her people. Basically, both Safira and Nazir are sent on a similar mission. Safira wants to uncover a lost artifact that can restore magic to her suffering world and stop the arts. And Nazir is sent by his father to retrieve the same artifact and kill the hunter. And the hunter is Safira. So that sounds incredibly interesting, and I cannot wait to get to this book, frankly. I mean, there's a lot of other books I can't wait to get to before this one, but I'm so glad I have it on my shelf now, because that means that whenever I want to read it or feel like picking it up, I will be able to pick it up. And I'm so excited. It is so gorgeous. I'm so happy. Alright, hello everybody. It is the next day, and since we talked the last time, or since I updated you the last time, I have read 115 pages in The Wise Man's Fear, and I have also started, as you saw, The Ruins of Gorlan, which is the first book in the Ranger's Apprentice series by John Flanagan. I've gotten, let me check quickly, 51 pages into this book, which is chapter 6. I finished chapter 6. But let me update you on The Wise Man's Fear first. So I'm now, I think, 11% into the book, and I can totally see that it's going similarly slow as The Name of the Wind, because I mean, just the fact that the audiobook for The Wise Man's Fear is 43 hours long, like, holy cow, right? And I think the paperback for The Wise Man's Fear is 900 something pages long. The ebook I'm borrowing from my library is 1,860 pages long, which is honestly longer than I thought a book could ever be. Like, what? I mean, I understand that ebooks are also a lot about like which settings you make, like font size and stuff. I can change the settings in the Libby app, which is where I'm borrowing the ebook, and then the page count goes down or up depending on which settings I choose. But like, still, I think the smallest page count I can achieve is like 1,300 pages or something, and I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, how much can you talk? I mean, I get that he's literally telling his whole life story, and I would probably not be able to summarize my whole life in 3 days. Kudos for that, but it's still moving slowly. At least we've actually gotten back into Kvothe telling his story. The Wise Man's Fear started in the present, like where Kvothe is at right now, at the point of when he is telling his life story, and now we're back into him telling the past parts of his life story, if that makes any sense. Like, it probably makes more sense if you have read either one of the books, or like both. But I feel like I'm enjoying it more now because, first of all, I don't really have any goals that I have to meet in order to finish the book on time, because there is no due date for this book. Like, The Name of the Wind, I wanted to have finished until a certain point in time for the book club, because I was reading the book for a book club. But The Wise Man's Fear, I just, like, if I only finish this book in May, like, what does it matter, right? So that makes it a lot easier. And I also feel like the fact that I just know in my brain that if I'm not enjoying what I'm reading right now, I could always put it down and pick up the other book I'm reading. Gives it a different feeling somehow. I don't know. I can't really describe it. Anyway, let's hear my first thoughts on Ranger's Apprentice, shall we? I mean, I'm only 51 pages in, so there's not really that many thoughts I'm having, other than I think I'm enjoying it so far. I can totally see that there is a type of humor that I am already enjoying at times, and that I can totally see myself enjoying more often throughout the book. I think I can see myself liking the characters once I get further into the book. Because like so far, this book has just basically told us where the main character, Will, is at right now in life. He is, I think, about to turn 15. He grew up as an orphan, and because his father presumably died a hero, there's this thing that this baron living in this castle, I think, kind of took it upon himself as a sort of responsibility that he take care of children that became orphans due to their parents dying, like in the war, for example, or dying in battle, or dying in service of the crown, that sort of thing. And so Will is one of these orphans. Presumably, they're not sure because nobody really knows who his parents are, because he was just placed on the steps of the castle as a baby with like a piece of paper stuck to him. And all the other kids, there are 4 other kids, they know where they're coming from, which it seems is a big issue for Will, that he doesn't know where he's coming from, who his parents are. He doesn't even have a last name because nobody knows where he's coming from and like who his family is. And there is a thing called choosing day, where basically I think once the children turn 15, or once they're about to turn 15-ish, they have the chance to become an apprentice to somebody working for the Baron. Will is struggling a lot with that because he feels like he's not good at anything that corresponds to any of these apprenticeships, and apparently the masters of all these apprenticeships think the same. There's also this ranger, because there's this ranger corps, and they're considered very mysterious and like gloomy and dark, and some people think they're using black magic, that sort of thing. And there's this ranger called Holt, who is very good at just showing up out of nowhere, really, like a shadow, that everyone's always shocked when he's suddenly in the room. And he was there at the choosing day, and nobody chose Will, and now this ranger was there and like looking intently at him, and Will was like, what does this mean? What is going on? Yeah, I'm very interested to see how this will continue. I actually don't know if I'll be able to... Oh, by the way, I really love how floppy this paperback is. It's so amazing. I love floppy paperbacks. What was I saying? Right, I'm not sure if I'll be able to update you tomorrow or if there will even be anything at all to update, because I'll be out and about from morning till like afternoon or maybe even early evening, so I'll see. Alright, hello everybody. It is... I was about to say the next day, but it is in fact not the next day. It is 2 days later from when I last updated you, because yesterday I was out and about almost all day, and afterward I was just way too exhausted to film anything, and I was also too exhausted to read, so I didn't have anything to update you on anyway. That being said, today is Sunday, and I've been listening to the audiobook for The Wise Man's Fear a lot while doing the dishes and the laundry and all kinds of fun chores that are not actually that fun, but they're significantly less boring if I listen to an audiobook, so that's good. And I've been listening to the audiobook for a few hours now, which equals to about 92 pages in the ebook. And I'm now 16% in, which I know doesn't sound a lot, but I think that was a good bit I read. I'm happy about that with the progress I made. We're currently seeing a lot more of Quoth's education at the university again, which I'm also really happy about, especially because we're seeing a lot of his friends and I love them. I don't know, I just started loving them so much. Like, they are such great characters. They're a bit of comic reliefs at times, but they're great. I'm enjoying them a lot, and I think their dynamics between each other and with Quoth are just amazing. So yeah, that is that. And I have also an update for the Ruins of Gorlan, which I've also made a little bit of progress. I read, I think it was 34 pages or something. I'm on page 85 now. And Will has started his apprenticeship now as a ranger. I hope I can say that, and that's not considered a spoiler, but like, that's what this whole series is about Will being an apprentice of a ranger. So yeah, that's what's been going on. He's been learning a lot of things. We've been seeing more of the ranger and his character, which I can't make much of him yet, but I'm also not that far into the book yet. So there's that. But I'm enjoying it a lot so far. I just didn't really film much today because I've listened to the audiobook of The Wise Man's Fear most of the day, and as I said, I did it while doing chores, so I didn't really know what to film. And I think I'm actually gonna probably put down The Wise Man's Fear for maybe a day or two to finish the Ruins of Gorlan, because I kind of feel like my brain starts dropping what's going on in this book whenever I go back to The Wise Man's Fear. But it doesn't happen the other way around, probably because The Wise Man's Fear is already the second book in a series, so I've already been in that world for much longer compared to how long I've been in this world. So yeah, I kind of want to spend more quality time in this world right now and see if I can maybe finish this book tomorrow or maybe the day after tomorrow. Let's see. I really hope that the sun will stay the way it is for at least a little bit, because like if I move a little bit this way or a little bit that way, it'll shine right into my face. So actually maybe I should have just chosen a different spot to film this update. But anyway, here we are now for a new update. It is Monday now and today has been, I don't know what kind of day it's been. Like, I had so many things planned, one of which was to read a whole lot in the Ruins of Gorlan. I had planned to make so much progress in this book today, and then a friend of mine called me via video call while she was building up furniture, and somehow we ended up calling for 9.5 hours, perhaps. It was, I don't know how that happened, and like, I'm pretty sure that in total, there was probably a full hour in between where we just didn't talk, and she was doing stuff and I was doing stuff, but we were just there together, you know? And it was lovely. I enjoyed it a whole lot. We had a great time. I miss doing that with her so much. I still have no idea how we managed to make it 9.5 hours, but that happened. So my reading progress was not that much. I read like 40 pages or something. I'm on page 125 now, which is still like almost halfway through the book though, because it's not that big of a book. Some time has passed and Will has been learning a lot from his ranger trainer. And he's also actually just learned a kind of big piece of information. I'm not sure if it can be considered a secret. The person that this piece of information is about treated it kind of like a secret. At least they seemed as if they didn't want people to know, or at least not Will. And the person that actually told Will also kind of treated it as if he's not supposed to know or something. So I'm very interested where that's gonna go. I also have a tiny theory about something else, which I don't think I can share because it might be a little spoilery. But I'm really excited to see where this book will be going. And I don't think I'm gonna read any more today because I'm exhausted, frankly, but I'm definitely gonna read more tomorrow. And given that I am halfway through the book and I have now decided to put The Wise Man's Fear on hold until I finish this book, I think I can finish it by tomorrow. No, maybe not tomorrow, but probably the day after tomorrow. And I'm actually really excited about that. Oh my god. I'm actually really enjoying this book. It kind of reminds me of a fantasy series that I read as a kid, which is still, to this day, one of my top favorite fantasy series. Like, probably also because of some nostalgia, but it just, I loved that thing to death. And this kind of reminds me a bit of that, like the vibes. But I would love to enjoy this whole series, and maybe I'm even gonna continue it. I haven't made up my mind on that yet, but I'm not really opposed to continuing it. So yeah, I'll continue reading and update you again tomorrow. Remember how I said I will talk to you tomorrow and probably finish The Ruins of Gorlan by the day after tomorrow? Yeah, well, that's not happening. The first thing did not happen, and the second thing is not going to happen. Yesterday, I literally did not read. I mean, I did read something, but nothing, not a single page of either of the books that I'm reading in this vlog. And today, guess what? I developed a headache, and honestly I'm so exhausted and I'm so tired and I just want to go to bed, so I'm gonna keep this short. I mean, I don't have that much to update on anyway. I am now on page 162, so I did make some progress. Not much, but some progress, considering that I was developing that headache while reading this. And at some point I just had to stop because I was like, this is not working. I don't think I could talk much about what's been going on because at this point I'm more than half into this book, so it might be a bit spoilery what's going on, right? I am enjoying the book. If it wasn't for my headache, I think I'm gonna update you again tomorrow and see if I can finish this book tomorrow, because I really want to continue reading and I really want to finish this book and see where it's going and where the end might take the series, like in regards of the next book. But it's just not working today, because sometimes life just happens, I guess. And sometimes that sucks. Alright everybody, guess what? I did actually manage to finish The Ruins of Gorlan today. It is Thursday, exactly 1 week after I started this vlog. And I finished the book. I already said that, but I finished the book. And my gosh, a lot of stuff went down towards the end. And also that one scene at the end, I don't know, maybe the people who have read the book too will know what I'm talking about, but that one scene at the end, my heart was jumping up into the sky. It made me so happy. Okay, so maybe some final concluding thoughts on this book. All in all, I really did enjoy this book. At the beginning, I felt like there was a bit too much telling instead of showing sometimes, but to be fair, it's the first book in the series, so I think that's okay. And I've also heard that the series gets better. It's just a thing that I picked up on. And I also noticed that this book pulled off the all-knowing narrator writing style pretty well. I first assumed that I'm gonna be not exactly irritated by it, but maybe confused at times, because the all-knowing narrator obviously jumps between the thoughts of one person and the next, and the feelings of one person and the next. Like, it took me some getting used to, but then it didn't really confuse me or irritate me at all. I definitely loved the medieval vibes of this book, and I loved seeing Will train to become a ranger, and I loved seeing him develop his skill set and strengthen his skills that he already has. I think I've mentioned this, but at first I didn't really know what to make of Halt or how to feel about him, because he does seem a bit gloomy and mysterious in the way that he just doesn't really share many things about himself, or he just doesn't give that much about himself away yet. Maybe, I don't know, maybe that'll change throughout the series as the characters get closer. Who knows? I mean, the people that have read the series and the author obviously know, but you get my point. Throughout the book, I really started to like him, and I really loved seeing the glimpses of his relationship with his former apprentice. He gave me total father figure vibes at those moments somehow, and I don't know, I just loved seeing that. And it also, every time, it made me so happy when he praised Will a little. I know this may sound a bit ridiculous, but it's made a point in the book that Holt doesn't give out praise very easily. So every time he does do it, Will was basically jumping with excitement on the inside, and so was I. Most of the tabs I put into this book were when Holt gave him a small nod of approval or something like that, because honestly I was screaming probably just as much as Will was on the inside. Actually, I've already ordered the second, third and fourth book of the series, and I can't wait for them to arrive, frankly, because I want and need to continue the series as soon as possible. I just enjoyed it a lot. Like, the plot wasn't some huge intricate plot or whatever, but it had great vibes. I enjoyed it a lot. I just had a really good time reading this book. Apart from the 280 pages that I read of the ruins of Gorlan in this vlog, I also read 181 pages of The Wise Man's Fear in this vlog. If I calculated correctly, it's a bit hard to keep track of because I kept jumping between the audiobook and the ebook, and the ebook sometimes doesn't show me my progress in pages but in percentage. So looking back now, I am not 100% sure on which page I started, but I do know on which page I am on right now. But like, I think you get the point. All in all, I think I had a pretty good reading week, if you don't take into account that life happened, but I mean, that's literally just how life goes. So I enjoyed my reading this week. I really hope you enjoyed this vlog as well. If you did, perhaps give this video a thumbs up. Maybe subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any future videos that I will upload. Perhaps let me know in the comments if you have read either of the books that I read in this vlog. And if you haven't, maybe just let me know what you're currently reading. Other than that, I will see you guys somewhere else on the internet. Bye!